All right, the highlights from GreatStockPicks.com on Wednesday, May 29th from our chat room. I'm going to go over my calls today. KORS gapped up on earnings, sold off, and then climbs through the high of the day, and then the daily chart's looking real good. And this is what we teach. You never want to take this high of day break, even though you think, okay, now on the daily it looks great, it's breaking out. You don't want to take it because of what it did right before that. All right. Anytime a stock moves up this far to break the high of the day, you're making a mistake jumping in long there. Let it break the high of the day and see if you can get a clean pullback. And so, it's much. Now, if this was in a tight base for a couple hours, right below the high of the day, then I love the high of day break. But always look at what it's done before it breaks the high of the day. That's not a good buy right there. So I was looking at what we call a between the greens play. I have two green lines on my 5-minute chart. The first one is the 24 period moving average, and the second one is the 60. I use exponential, and these coincide with the 24 coincides with the 8 on 15s, and the 60 down here coincides with the 20 on 15s. And so between these two lines, or between the 8 and the 20 on 15s, typically is what we call in our chat room the buy zone. So when you have a strong stock, you get it to pull back between the greens here, that can oftentimes be a place where it'll turn. And it gave a very nice 5-minute candle setup, which is what I pointed out. I said clean 5s in the buy zone on 15s, or we call it also a between the greens play. So clean 5 simply means the first break of a previous 5-minute high, especially this old hammer candle, 62, 67, my long idea, and the stop goes below this candle, just 29 cents below. So there's the trigger pretty quickly through almost to 63.50, and look what happens at the end of the day. We get a big push through the high of day break. Through the high of day, we get a nice break. And so ultimately this goes to 64, 65, almost $2 in our favor on 29 cents risk. And looking back now that you can see the whole day, that between the greens entry looks pretty good, right? So be patient. Don't ever chase something that's moved pretty far just because it's breaking the high of the day. CLNT, a little lower volume stock, but I had this on watch just because over 10 million shares about a week ago, and this thing runs from $3 to almost 11. And so then if I take today's candle out of it, then it had 3 days down and hit the 8-day moving average yesterday. So I put this on bounce watch. Unfortunately, it took off from the open. I would prefer this to have gapped down or just stayed in a narrow range for the first 30 minutes, but instead it just took off, so I didn't do anything with it. But now you've got a clearly established 30-minute high right here, and that's typically how we'll play a bounce play. I think this could have been had more mustard on it if it would have gapped down or done a narrow range for the first 30. But anyway, you slice it. Here is the 30-minute high, so you just kind of make note of that. And then if it breaks that, that's our long entry. And you see it did it right there. So it was 7.26, and the stop goes below the most. Actually, I put the stop at 7, so 26 cents risk. And this thing ended up going over 7.80. Doesn't sound like much, but on a $7 stock, it's pretty nice. 59-cent move in our favor on a $7 stock is pretty good. I also called First Solar, FSLR. Let's see. This, the solars can move, and when First Solar looked like this, FSLR told the chat room, hey, this has pretty good relative strength, because at the time the market was really weak, and so then it comes up, tests the high of day, kind of like before. You don't want to buy it up here when it's already been moving for 10 or 15 minutes, right? So I didn't do anything with it, but then this pullback, I didn't buy it on the pullback either. I wanted to kind of play this as a momentum play. So you see that blue line I've drawn here? That's basically a break of all of today's trading, with the exception of the two prints at 51.75. So my thinking is above this blue line this time. Now the market was stronger at this point. We're probably gonna get through the high of the day. So my long idea was 51.62, basically over that blue line, and you see what happened. Right through the high of the day, volume. Then they start chasing, and this thing goes up to 52.99. That is a $1.37 move in our favor on only 30 cents risk. And that was my calls for the day. Also called a late day ZLC at I think 7:08, and we got a quick move through 7:20. Let me see what else. CRM, Stephen B, one of our all-stars, called it over this little flag right here. It gaps down. It's down near the 200-day on this sell-off, which I think had Stephen B's attention. Bounces up, and this falling 5.8 or 5-minute candle. I'm sorry, 5.20. 5-minute. I can talk. 5-minute candle, 20-period moving average. Typically where the sellers are going to come back in. Okay, and this is kind of flagging here. Stephen B's theory if this fails to roll over, it could be a good long. So he calls this long if it gets to 41.22, which it did right there. Worst case stop, only 20 cents below. And look at that. Moved all the way up to 42.36, $1.14 in our favor, 20 cents risk. And you can see we were never underwater in that one. Great call by Stephen B. And then Big Ideas, one of our all-stars, called SLM, which gapped up. He saw the support here at 25, came back down again. He called it as a short at 24.97, and then a stop at 25.07. So a dime risk. There's the trigger, and this goes all the way down to 23.40. $1.57 move in our favor on about a dime risk. Great short call by Big Ideas as well. So really, really nice day on a weak market day. So all right, I'll quit babbling. If you ever have any questions, you can always shoot me an email. We'll talk to you guys later.